Well, on Monday, 20th of January 2014, I had a meeting I was to attend at the Corporate Affairs Commission. Unfortunately, the car I was driving developed some problem at NCC immediately after Hilton. That traffic light began to overheat. I managed to inch forward, and then a few minutes later, I had to saw some young men by the side. I asked them to help me push the car off the road. They pushed the car off the road so as not to obstruct traffic. Then I called my mechanic. Within 5 minutes, it was like all hell was let loose. The next thing I saw was myself on the ground, face down in mud. I had been pushed down from behind. There was a commotion. It turned out that some operatives, that's what they call themselves, operatives, working on the payroll of the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency, were chasing, I don't know who, what. They came to me where I had fallen down. I was trying to struggle up. I saw there was a small kind of water just to clean my face, and the next thing I saw was a dirty slap from my back. And I turned around and met three young men in uniform. In the melee, I was beaten black and blue. They carried me up to a waiting van. As they were going to the waiting van, somebody shouted from somewhere, no, it's not one of them, he's a lawyer. I turned around, they dropped me immediately. Said, this man is not a lawyer, how is it? The guy tried to explain to them. He turned out that one of the guys, another child who is a lawyer, who knows me very well, tried to explain to them that this guy is a lawyer and everything. Before that, two other guys had joined. They pushed the guy aside, said I must enter, that this is it, I am one of these guys. They thought probably that I was one of those guys selling and doing photocopy by CSE there. Before they realized, in the company of some Navy personnel, where I was terribly, the last time I received such beating was during the Abacha era, when we were protesting in Port Harcourt over Sarawiwa's killing. I never knew that under the civilian regime I could be beaten that black and blue. Now, I have been hearing stories about the operations of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board operatives. I didn't know just how bad it is. So I put together a statement which I have submitted to the National Human Rights Commission. And I'm not going to bore you to read, it's a bit long. I'm going to give you snippets of, if you go to a place like on page 2, I said that the thugs stole my trousers, shirt, and ripped my wristwatch off me. The money in my pocket fell out, about 80,000 fell on the ground, scattered all over the ground, and they all scrambled for the money. They picked the money from my pocket that was falling. They didn't return it to me. Now during the melee, the two handsets that were with me, the Samsung Galaxy and my BlackBerry both disappeared, as well as the several ATM cards and my platinum credit card from Access Bank. And 5 minutes later, as we were trying to arrive, some naval personnel arrived and joined in the harassment with gun butts and threatened to shoot everybody outside. At that point, the people were gathering there, just everybody scampered for cover. Now, what worries me most importantly is why we have naval personnel accompanying members of the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency to enforce the AEPB Act. I think we need naval personnel to protect our seashore. I think we need them in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa State, where the Boko Haram insurgency as we speak. So I'm calling on Mr. President to direct immediately that no military personnel and the Chief of Naval, the new Chief of Naval Staff, should, as a matter of urgency, withdraw those naval personnel who are being used to harass innocent citizens by the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency. I call on the Chief Justice of Nigeria to ensure that the judiciary is not used to give a veneer of respectability to the harassment of innocent, to rape. If you arrest somebody walking on the street and you end up raping her, that is not the law you are facing. If the exploitation of the innocent, the abuse, what is going on is just a reckless use of it. And I said to myself, if this could happen under a democracy, then nobody is safe. Now, I have submitted this petition. We are going to follow it up in the court and everywhere. But like, let me read this very important. I said, this impunity and violence must be curbed before it goes out of hand, if it has not already done so. I say so because if it happened to me, then nobody is safe, as evidenced by the brutality I was subjected to, and what I personally witnessed being meted out to the innocent young boys and girls who were alleged to be hawkers. No offense in the Nigerian statute books has as punishment the beating up, the merciless and brutalization of the kind of unleashment of mayhem on people as young as 5, 6, 7 years. I say so because this happened in my presence, and if it happened to me, I don't know what happened when we are not there. This also happened in the presence of a lot of people who were watching, and in the presence of military personnel who are supposed to protect lives and property. I don't care what it cost me. If by tomorrow you hear that somebody has shot me and that I've been brutalized and killed, or maybe because when I went to the hospital, what the doctor told me was that I escaped death by inches, where I was kicked in the ribs and in the kidney and everywhere, and nobody knows I've done the test. The result is yet to come out. So whatever happens, this struggle must continue. So I call on all of us to support these ones, to support this struggle, and ensure that the justice and human rights is protected as part of the transformation agenda of Mr. President. We cannot be talking about transformation agenda if the rights of the citizens are not protected. I call on the President to ensure that it's not all about politics, to deliver on his campaign promises, and ensure that any minister who cannot guarantee the attainment of rights in the ministry that is given to him or her, or a state governor who cannot ensure that things are done properly in the state, such people are not fit to be part of this administration and this system. So the Nigerian people, this is now your public realm. I call on you to join this struggle and ensure that justice is done.
The officials of Abuja Environmental Protection Agency on board, and I rushed to Area 3, where the Abuja Environmental Protection Board has their office. And while there, I saw two members of our branch, Abdul and Chief Akman, waiting there under arrest by officials of Abuja Environmental Protection Board. So I sought to find out the actual state of things. I spoke with the lawyer there, and they said that they will be charged to the environmental tribunal, and the tribunal sits from 4 p.m. So while we were waiting for the tribunal to sit, I was taken on aback when some other officials of environmental protection, a board, came in a bus. That's right. With about 6 young men who were arrested. As they brought them out of the bus, they descended on the young men right within the premises. They dealt blows and punches and slapped on them while there, and dragged them into a room that was already filled with people already arrested. And at this point, I felt very, very bad about the situation, and I approached one lady whom I saw there, who was obviously one of the senior management staff there, and she also was not happy with this development, and she tried to caution them. And one of their officers came and said that why are they punching and beating up these people? And one of those who was actively involved with the beating said that those people were fighting them at the point of arrest. And the man said, if they fought you at the point of arrest, why are you now they are being arrested? You have brought them within your premises. Why do you still continue the beating? From what I observed day before yesterday in that premises, I think the officials of Abuja Environmental Protection Board needs to be cautioned in that if an offense has been committed by any citizen of this country, the rights and prosecute. But the situation where you arrest and bring people within your premises and start beating them mercilessly, assaulting and brutalizing people, injuring with people, bleeding all over the place, I think is unacceptable in any civilized society. I want to use this opportunity to call on the management of Abuja Environmental Protection Board to review their modes of operation when it comes to arresting hawkers and other people based on the provision of the Abuja Environmental Protection Act. And also, it's curious enough, I saw one of the notice board a memo written by the director, wherein he cautioned them that a series of reports has been made to the office as to how they brutalize and manhandle people whom they arrest. And that memo cautioned them to stop that kind of brutality on people who are being arrested for various environmental offenses and the other. And I became a little bit disturbed that even the top management are aware of the brutality that the officials are meant out to members of the public, and they've not taken any positive steps to arrest this ugly situation. Well, we have received a formal petition from one of the member of the Nigeria Bar Association was brutalized, Chief Akpan. I actually saw very deep bruises on his face. I saw the mangled clothes, and I think we will look into the petition, and the relevant committee of the Nigeria Bar Association Human Rights Committee will be directed to investigate this matter, and the Nigeria Bar Association Abuja will take a position on it.
In fairness to them, one of those boys said they didn't know I'm a lawyer. That was the initial. They confessed there that they didn't know I'm a lawyer. But apparently somebody they said no, this damage has been done. Look for something that could have intervened. There were about 50 of them, plenty, gun-toting, battle-ready naval personnel in the midst using both of the gun and supply personnel to guide our waterways. They are with AEPB, beating hawkers, raping those girls. What is the chief of naval staff doing? The president should remove the chief of naval staff. It should be removed if he allows those men to join in the brutality of the citizens. The most brutal incidents to happen to Nigerian citizens after Abacha died. Not since the regime of Abacha did have I seen children as young as 5 being beaten black and blue, thrown into vans, kicked left and right and center, bleeding. The girls are raped routinely. I have witnesses who have been raped routinely just because they were selling bananas, just because they were hawking. If you catch somebody who is underage hawking, maybe you arrest the person and wait for the parents. I call on the Chief Justice of Nigeria to call to question the continual use of the judiciary, the magistrates of the FCT, to give a veneer of responsibility to what is obvious an illegal purpose.
That the courts have given to APB has provoked them to have a death grip. The APB has a death grip on FCT masses. And this country cannot afford such death grip at this moment. The constant brushes, the constant sparks between AEPB and the Nigerian masses must not be allowed to cause an inferno. It will consume this country. It is as a matter of urgency, the President, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the Chief Judge of FCT should look into that matter. The court must be withdrawn from the premises of AEPB. Because when they bring somebody, an illiterate from outside selling pure water, they beat you in front of the court and arraign you at the same time. It gives the masses the impression that the government supports the beating. It's a desecration of justice. It is atrocity.